the two
That
rails
sounds
of
really good.
what you
Let's
don't
talk
want to
about
speak
that.
on, political and religion.
Yeah, no, that's what we want to talk about. That's what gets the people interested. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. It's what is it? It's Christian anarchy, biblical anarchy.
All right.
Yeah,
That could really that could take up some time.
you're out on the West Coast. I don't know how many people would listen to us.
Yeah, that's true. We're in we're in what they call a little red pocket. So our county,
okay.
yeah, our little county is painted red, but everybody else around is blue. So
This area here, we're an hour from Baltimore, Maryland, so an hour and a half from DC. So
okay,
an hour from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, too, right in the middle.
All right.
But this area
sounds like you get the same kind of mix.
This area's Republicans have turned hardcore libertarian.
Okay.
Like Republicans have let the base down for so long that Donald Trump is a moderate, kind of.
Yeah, it seems like anywhere around Kansas City there is a very libertarian.
Say something.
Oh, someone wanted to know if you could hear me okay.
Oh, you're perfect. Yeah.
I only have one vocal cord since COVID.
Well, it sounds good.
Okay.
The one the one that's still fighting in there, you're still making some noise. So I can always I can always increase your volume up in the post production, so we'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I had quite the ordeal in I think it was 21. I got COVID after thinking I wasn't going to get it because I'd been in thousands of customers' vehicles and transactions and didn't even know I had it. I presented it as like food poisoning.
Okay.
And I just wanted to sleep and go to the bathroom and told everyone to leave me alone. And then one day, my son's trying to call me from the shop and I'm not answering. So he comes to the house and.
No, you answered. You were incoherent.
Oh, he said I answered, but I was incoherent. So I don't know if you know what a pulse oximeter is when they check your blood oxygen level. You're supposed to be 90 or above, and I was at 60.
Oh wow!
When I got into the ambulance,
yeah.
And when I got to the hospital, they said you're a dead man walking, but we got to put you on the vent now. You do not pass go, do not collect $200. You're getting on the vent. You're probably not going to make it. So I said, well, let me call home and tell my wife I love her.
Yeah.
And I spent the next 3 weeks on a vent in an induced coma, on paralytics and everything to keep me still. Had a stroke while I was on the vent and was given up for dead. But here I am. I didn't have enough challenges in life.
Yeah, why not throw another one up? As long as you're standing upright and
yeah,
that's
so
good.
It's been a long fight back. A lot of the industry brothers have that have been friends for a while have been great to me all over the country. So we won't drop names. We won't. But people that you see.
Yeah, feel free if anybody, you want to give a shout out to anybody. Well, being a part of that group it helps.
The great brotherhood that was encouraging to my family while I didn't even know it. I'm in a coma and, we have Greg Buckley. We have, Bill Nalu. We have Frank Lutz. Reaching out from all over the country and many, many hundreds more from the local area and all over the world, really reaching out to my family, which I'm still catching up on all my on my thank yous. But yeah,
It's a good problem to have, though.
yeah, yep.
There's nothing like being able to look through things like that and see all the support from the community. And it's amazing how the social media influence, and especially when it comes to Facebook, and how kind of a negative connotation it had for such a long time. And it's really come down to just jumping on these different platforms and these different groups, right? And the support you get and these families that you build. There really isn't anything else other than that to connect, right? You see them once or twice at a trade show all year,
Trade shows, training.
It's like the only time you get to see them. But now with this platform, you can like keep in touch with them, and it's cool. And then, you meet new people, and yeah, it takes up a lot of time, but I think it's valuable. You got to be careful. You can really spend a lot of time on there kind of searching all these things, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you're debating on 5 different conversations and 6 different groups, and you're like, hold on a second. I've been on my phone for the last 5 hours.
Yeah. I try to stay away from that. I used to be like a dog with a bone with an argument, but since this ordeal, I go, is this a tug of war game that I even want to pick up the rope and pull?
Yeah, I mean, and then what's the point? Like, you can't change people's opinions, right?
Right.
And I'm sure your son can probably attest to this too. If he's doing a religion and political, podcast, it's probably very, very, very difficult to get someone to change their political and religions, right? Their views when it comes to that. But even just in coming in the automotive stuff, I mean, once you got your way that's been working, it's so difficult to see another way. And I think doing this podcast that I've been doing, I've really noticed the different ways people run their shop, and whether they think they're right or wrong, they're right. I mean, it's like, it's your shop, do it however you want, but you can definitely notice the trend when it comes to doing it a certain way and then being successful and running an ethical business. And there's a trend when it comes to that.
Yep. And I had when I first started out, the most of the techs that I had under me as a first-time business owner were older than me, and so that was they would always give me, well, this is how we've always done it, and I would say, well, have you ever considered the fact that you've either done it wrong or there's a better way? And they would come around. I would go, look, I'm going to give you leeway to do it your way until it's time for you to do it my way. And they all came around, but that's a story for another day.
Usually how I go. Well, on that note, before we get too far into this, let's get an introduction from you.
Let me know. Go ahead.
Oh, you go. Yeah, go ahead with your introduction. Sorry.
My name is Brian Winograd. I live in South Central Pennsylvania. Married, 5 children from 35 down to 16, 4 grandkids, 1 incredible dog, and just lucky to be alive and happy to be alive. Been in the auto business since the 70s. I grew up on the parts side. Before I started even driving, and then got into the mechanical ed at 15 and haven't looked back ever since.
And your specialty in the field?
Well, two specialties. Mechanically, I'm a transmission specialist, but I've always been in a specialty because I went to college for business and communications. Okay. So, marketing my shop, and because, we're not seeing, unless we do an extremely good job, repeat customers, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Most people look at us and the mortician and the dentist kind of in the same group. Hope to never see you again.
Yeah.
But if you do a good job, seems like the funeral home and the dentist and the transmission guy gets 2nd and 3rd generation customers that way. But So we always have to be marketing from the day I opened. That was back during the Yellow Page days before the invention of the internet. So always had to be ahead of the curve as seeing where the business is going, where technology is going, and the new ways of getting the business in front of our community.
Right. The new customer acquisition is that's the leading edge when it comes to transmission repair shops.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, well, hopefully you don't see them more than once, because it's usually on your dime if you do, right?
Well, we were good at giving good work and a good warranty. We gave a 3-year unlimited mile warranty. Just to let you know, I did sell the shop after my sickness.
Yeah, can't blame you there. There's no reason. There's no reason to keep pushing that envelope. That's for sure.
I had a 2-year ordeal just to get back on my feet. Just about 2 weeks ago, just got medical clearance to go back to working on a front end or marketing or advisory type position. So, but my phone rings or email lights up daily still from, I used to have 200 wholesale accounts and other shops, and we serve as their tech line when they get into work that they're really not trained to do, but their bays aren't full enough, so they get into trying to put in a valve body or do something that they weren't quite prepared for. So I have to talk them through it over the phone still.
So you do some tech support. That's cool.
Yeah, to my old customers.
That's probably fun, right? It's probably I guess if it's your old customers, you have a relationship built. You're not dealing with somebody under a tree in their backyard trying to figure out how to do this thing. Somebody with some aptitude behind them.
I'm at the age now where I'm seeing my customers who were second generation owners selling their shops. And so I'm in that age group where these guys are saying, Brian, can I pick your brain one more time? And by the way, here's the new owner. So that's making new relationships there as well.
Right. Yeah, you have every right to be able to kick back a little bit now.
Well, that's not my nature. I've been on my own. Been on my own since age 16, and I'm used to getting up and being putting in an honest day's work, looking at this mug back in the mirror, knowing that I had a good day. I used to run not just my business, but several nonprofits and do work in Ghana, Africa, and things of that nature. Ran the local mission for the homeless men and women here in our county for a couple years, and another nonprofit that helped at-risk moms and their children. So I always tried to keep busy. I was president of our local chapter of ASA for 5.5 years and a state and national delegate there. So I've tried to keep busy.
Yeah, you get your hands in a little bit of everything. Let's touch on that a little bit. So when it came to the nonprofits, was that something that was ran through your shop or totally divorced?
What I did in Ghana, I used a portion of my proceeds to self-fund building a school and orphanage in Sunyani, Ghana, Africa.
Yeah.
That was back when one of our dollars was about 14,000 Ghana cedi. So I got a lot more done back in the day.
Yeah.
They've done a good job in stabilizing their currency. So now it's about 7 Ghana cedi to $1. So I have turned that over in the last couple of years to fundraising, which was new to me. I always thought I could self-fund it and wanted to self-fund it, but it's a work I'm committed to. So it's something that we have fully funded for the next several years. And I'm I'm proud of that. Built it in honor of my mom. That's what Jewish people do, is we build things to honor people who have passed on and lived a good life, and we put their name on the building. So you go to a hospital and, there's, Joe Goldstein's cancer wing, or, something like that. So,
Right.
So God's blessed us. So we try to give back to, to society. And Ghana was, definitely more needy than here in central Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I mean, anywhere you can share, it's awesome. I mean, we've been talking a lot about that with our shop incentives and our shop goals. And one of the things we've brought up to our techs is, hey, the next time we meet our sales goals, why don't we just shut down and we'll go do some community service? I don't think they're too interested in that right now, but it's one of those things where once you do it, you understand the reward, right? But like, my bonus is going to be doing free work. Like, no, I mean, we're going to pay you, but let's get you there. Let's just do it one time, because I feel like it's one of those things is once you do it one time, it's like this auto industry. Like once you get into it and you fix that one car, it's like, oh, I get it. But when you're watching it from the outside in, it's like, why would you do that? That's crazy. You're giving away you're giving away stuff. It's like, no, you just don't understand.
Yeah. And a lot of us grew up, less fortunate than others. Let's face it. I mean, that's what drove me wanting to give back. I mean, my dad left when I was 3, and my mom and my brother and I lived in the inner city of Baltimore, which was no picnic. And we volunteered in soup kitchens to eat, because my mom was too proud to go in the line saying that she needed the meal. She didn't want to let people know that we had the need to let family members know. So,
right.
We got clothed from, thrift stores and Goodwills and ate at soup kitchens. And so we had that desire in me to give back, but also to do well, to say, I want to get out of this, situation. So my kids and my grandkids would have a better shot at life.
Right. Yeah. Break out of the generation and build a new generation.
Yep. And many shop owners have similar stories. It's, when you're at the lunch breaks at the seminars and the trade shows, and you go have a bite to eat or a drink, you find that story is not uncommon.
Yeah. And maybe it translates to other industries, but I feel like the auto industry does pull in that certain mentality where it's a very cheap introductory, and you can get in very cheaply. You can go buy yourself some Craftsman tools and you can start fixing cars in your driveway, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is decent. And then there's that bit of charity too, where you're giving someone their car back so they can go to work, so they can take care of their family.
Exactly.
And it strikes a chord with most of us that have been in that, because you understand how it feels to be there, how to not have wheels, how to not have a way to get to work, how to, not be able to take care of your family. And you can give that back to somebody else and they can now use their vehicle because of you. Yeah. It's like, you can't even describe what that feeling is. And then you realize, wow, and I made a monetary gain. I financially supported myself with this. The issue I see is that mindset really stays locked in for a very long time through the evolution of becoming a tech becoming owner becoming, the actual shop owner. And it's like that mindset is the best thing and the worst thing to have, if that makes sense, where you got to start focusing you a little bit more on the numbers, and you're not just wrenching in your parking lot anymore, and you have to pay for technicians now. And so you can't give away your work anymore. And you're like, but this is the whole reason why I'm doing this. So it's very a difficult transition to make.
There's always an ability to help, and there's also the ability and the wisdom to know when to say no. This is not a good time, and
right.
to not feel bad about it, because you're not helping anybody if you go out of business.
Right. But speaking from true experience right there, because it's a struggle that I deal with, and I've talked to so many others about, and it's so hard to think that and realize like you can't give your time away anymore, but that's like one of the main reasons why we all start this and learn how to fix these things, because we all didn't have a car, and if we did, it was something our parents gave us that didn't run or
Right.
broke down all the time. It was like, how do I stop ending up on the side of the road? I better figure out how to fix this thing. And then your buddies are like, hey, you got that thing running? You haven't broken down in like a week. Can you fix mine? It's like,
yeah, but isn't it? I mean, it's kind of a drug too to help people. I mean, once you start doing it, it's. I mean, I'm not. We don't have to talk about our industry and how there's a lot of recovering, you name it, addicts of
right.
Whatever chemical, whether it's you pour it or smoke it or any other addiction. But there's no better joy that you really get than using your hands to help a single mom get her car back on the road so she can help her kids so they can have a better life, or work her, even if it's not for a job, if it's to go to school so she can get a better job, to become an RN. Maybe she's in, what do they call it? LPN, maybe
Right.
The next step up is some more school, but she needs that vehicle.
Yeah. Whatever it is, the point is you got to get from point A to point B,
whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I also see love seeing the light bulbs go off in young people. I mean, I've served for 30 years on the York School of Technology, which is our local high school trade school, and it has all sorts of great academies. But me and a lot of other independent and dealers have come together in our area and put together a great NATEF certified. These kids come out with a better start than coming out of some of these community colleges, licensed with ASEs and in our state inspection and emission license, and knowing how to use all data and OSHA certified. And these kids, this generation kind of gets a bad rap because they figured out all the BS because there's so much information out there. So they figured out, why would I want to be in your industry, Mr. Auto Mechanic? And so we have a recruitment day for incoming ninth graders once a year to get exposed to the shop. We give them hands-on, doing things and get excited, think about coming into our academy. Yeah, there's some coming in that their dad works at a shop or they have a project car. But a lot of them that get exposed to the open house there at the school sign up. And now we have just the opposite problem. We have way more applicants than we have spaces. And then I get to see them 4 years later when we do what's called NOCTI testing, which is a national hands-on test for every industry. The electricians have it, the carpenters have it, the welders have it. They have to go through like 11 hands-on stations. Change a tire, do a brake job, diagnose a check engine light, identify like 30 different parts at a section. I'm leaving out a bunch of different stations, and then we grade them based upon competence. Looking up, say for a brake job, looking up discard. I laugh when I say that. Looking up discard measurements and how to use a tool to do it, because we know the cost of rotors now. It's just put the rotors on. Why spend the time sitting at the lathe cutting?
Yeah.
But they're learning that. They're learning the knowledge.
It's still information to know. I
Yeah.
mean, you can,
Yeah.
if you're looking at a set of rotors that might be, 120 a piece, for a big truck or something, then you can maybe justify turning those once or twice. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the fact of the matter is there's a spec for everything in this industry. When you're looking through repair manuals, like, you just got to know that there's a measurement, there's a spec, there's a tool for damn near anything, right?
Yep.
We don't use half of them, but they're there for you to know,
They're just in case. Yeah.
just in case. Yeah.
But, the other thing, we have a couple hot rod teams, and they compete locally. They tear down like a 350 V8 engine, and there's a team. I think there's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 techs and 1 guy working a bench grabbing the parts. So as the engine's being tore down, another guy's grabbing the parts, and he's taking rings off, putting rings on, doing things of that nature, totally down to the block, and then rebuilt, torqued to spec, and it's timed. And every drop of a tool is a penalty. Every drop of a part, there's a penalty time added on.
Wow.
And we had 2 teams go to Vegas this year, and 1 team that was nationally ranked. So these kids are enthusiastic. They're hungry. They want to learn.
Cool. I saw that trailer out there at the SEMA show at the convention center. I saw those kids just busting ass. It was so cool to see all these kids with big smiles. And that was the most important thing. Big old smiles as they're doing this. Like, that's all with speed wrenches, right? They don't use power drills.
Right.
Is that part of the deal?
Yep. We have a team that's mostly female, if we're allowed to say that in 2023.
Oh, that's what they told you anyway.
That's and in practice, they'll beat the guys because they're slow. They're not slow. They're steady and methodical. They're thinking. They're more spatial conscious.
They're just more detail oriented.
Yeah. Especially at that age, where the boys are just like, let's get it done, get it done, get it done. And they're like Marines. They're like, rah, 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 rah. Where the girls are just, you wouldn't know they're working over there.
Yeah.
But many times they're beating the boys. And I always have a little grin on my face when that happens.
It's cool to see. It's cool to see the different, how the different minds look at something, and obviously in the automotive field, like, this is a stigma, right? You got to be overweight, you got to smoke cigarettes, and you got to be a dude to be an auto mechanic, right? And you got to have a grease rag hanging out of your back pocket, and the whole get up that we can all visualize. And it's just not what this industry is, and it's just proof to watch that proof of concept be proven wrong when you see a group of women, teenage girls, whoever they are, actually get in there and not only go toe to toe, but beat out this stigmaed, male dominant field. And it's just cool because it just proves that this industry has so much more to offer the young people than anybody expects. And especially in this day and age, with the amount of the repairs we're doing and the amount of knowledge it takes and the amount of, you don't want to sit at a desk and do the same thing every day. There's trades out there that give you something different every day. But if you're wiring a house every day, if you're framing a house every day, if you're plumbing a house every day, that's about as monotonous as you can get if you're coming to blue collar stuff. And in the automotive industry, you're not doing the same thing every day.
And these young folks are getting more than just theory and hands-on. We're teaching them the importance of dress code. We're teaching them the importance of safety. We're teaching them the importance of punctuality. We're teaching them the importance of look someone in the eye when they're talking to you, shake someone's hand if you're going on an interview. So by the time they're coming and going to their stations at the NOCTI test, they're looking sharp. Their hair is nice and neat. If they got long hair, it's put back so it doesn't get caught anywhere. They have their safety glasses on. But they come to me to hand me their textbook before they even start. Say, my name is, shake my hand, and then wait for me to tell them to begin. And I've been doing this, like I said, 30 years. I was discouraged 30 years ago with that the group that came through then. So it's a credit to the school, it's a credit to the teachers, the advisory board, and the independent Napa shops and the dealers in the area that are the most willing to participate, volunteer. Once a month, we have what's called a Gears and Grub show
that's
and
cool.
tell.
I like
show
that.
and tell after school. So had a demon in the other day. Had a 2024 BMW i5, total electric EV. We get to put it up in the air, go underneath, look at it, have someone talk about it, give them more instruction. Sprint cars come in, and the kids all get to sit in there, rev that thing up to the rev limiter, smell the fumes, just get excited
Right.
for the industry. So
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be the technical training stuff. Sometimes it's all it takes. And then they do the learning on their own, because the old adage, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink, right? So you got to get them thirsty, and then they'll pick up the knowledge on their own.
And I don't know how it is out your neck of the woods, but we need to do a better job with entry techs as far as keeping them and attracting them with pay and benefits. I know owners don't like to hear that because it's extra expense. Or you hear this all the time. If you heard this, Jimmy, I'm training somebody else's tech, right?
Yeah.
We hear that a lot.
Yeah, why would I train them if they're just going to leave?
Right.
Well, why would they leave if you train them right?
It's like, why get married? You don't get married in anticipation of divorce.
Right.
So why is our industry so kind of backwards and thinking?
Why even you wiping your ass if you're gonna go if you're gonna shit again tomorrow? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So I'll give you a case in point. I have two adult sons in the business as techs. I have a third one actually 10th grade in this school, wanting to be a tech. Their just turned 19-year-old sister went to the same school to be an electrician. Okay? Just turned 19. Now, again, I don't know what good income is out where you are, but I'm going to tell you there isn't nearly a tech in our area making more than 100K. Okay? Even at the dealer level. Now, 100K in our area, you're not hurting, but you're not, in Biden times, you're not doing well. Mm-hmm. A good A tech at most places will work his butt off to make 85 around here. I say that to say this. My 19-year-old daughter, electrician, started out in the union at $26.50 an hour with all the overtime she wants. Every day that she works more than 8 hours, just that day, is overtime. Sundays are double time. And holidays, just like we had Veteran Day, one Friday, she got double time. So she was making $52 an hour as a 19-year-old. Didn't even start her apprentice program yet. She just got accepted into the apprentice program. So she's just running conduit in a trench, unskilled. Mm-hmm. And my boys are going,
right.
It's kind of demoralizing, especially my guy who's the only transmission tech at a dealer that is being hit on physically and mentally and all of that, and dealing with the shortage of parts that we're all dealing with, right, and all of that. And
plus you got an 8-speed, 9-speed, 10-speed, and who knows what's next. What are you going to do? 12-speed? Like, how many more are you going to throw in this damn thing?
500-pound transmissions and behind a diesel you know,
Yeah.
and he's got his 19-year-old sister grossing more than him,
Yeah.
right now.
Right.
Now, not every situation's going to be pretty like that. And no, I'm not saying that our industry needs to unionize. That's a discussion for another podcast. But
it is a discussion nonetheless, though, because it's definitely a
licensing union, definitely, the right to know.
It's a sore subject, I guess what I was saying. It's definitely an open wound right now as far as the auto industry and obviously with the UAW strike. And I mean, we're like right in the thick of it. And it's like, they got their way with that. So, and then you said you look at these unions when you talk about electricians or plumbers or any of those other blue collar skilled trades. And that's what's going on. A lot of plumbing companies are charging an upwards of $600 an hour, to install your water heater. Can I install a water heater? Yeah. I mean, you and I both can, right? Anything that's any other skills, we have the capability of doing. You know what I mean?
And our skill, let's put it out there. I teased my doctor. I said, I don't know why you get paid more than me. You only have 2 models, male and female. Now you have,
that's fair.
You have,
there's one in the middle now too, but yeah.
You have miniature male and female, so that might be a specialty. I said, but when I first got into the business, I just had to be an old-fashioned wrench head. I didn't have to know Ohm's law, Pascal's law. I didn't have to know how to, run voltage test or Ohm's check.
Hook up a lab scope at the minimum. Yeah.
I didn't have to know how to read, wavelengths and what that wavelength should look like. I didn't have to program computers. There wasn't even computers on a car when I first got in. Now, some of these cars to put a bulb in.
Right.
You're tearing a front clip apart halfway to put a bulb in.
Or as we all know, with the glorious 6L80, you can't even install a transmission without a reprogramming.
Well,
that's standard. And we say that like it's standard, but to think about your reference here, it's like, think about 40 years ago. You mean I install a transmission, I have to program a computer? What are you talking about?
Right.
It would be like, look at you sideways.
Think about that electrician or that plumber.
Yep.
Or that drywall hanger or painter. And I'm going to stand up for our trade and what we do. I mean, if you're a little old lady and your toilet's not flushing, you're paying somebody $200 just to get 4 tires to your pavement.
Mm-hmm.
We are embarrassed to charge $200 to do a diag on a vehicle.
Yep.
$300 because you actually lose whatever you charge on a diag. You're losing in that bay, especially if it's drivability, because you're taking your best tech with the most knowledge, the most tools, the most know-how, and he's going to use maybe multiple information sources, which costs monthly subscriptions, to get to the bottom of this at your door rate at whatever rate it is.
Right. You're not going to beat your diag time because you're charging on the hour by the hour.
Right. And on the meantime, that same guy could have done, 10 brake jobs.
Yeah. Settle ball joints in 4 hours.
Right. So, we sometimes our hands are tied by the state on how we can charge on things and have to post certain things. And education needs to be done on a legislative level, but we need to do better as owners, across the board, dealers, independents.
Absolutely.
What we charge for what we do compared to any other trade.
And there's the ethical component behind it. When you get down to the bottom of something, you just find a wire, right? Or you find it's a bad fuse, or what have you. Whatever you end up finding on usually an advanced diag like that, it's usually something simple, right? It's like the major stuff's easy to find, but it's the little itty bitty stuff that takes a long, long time to find, and it's so hard to justify. Oh, look, this was your problem. Like, you're charging me $1,000 to replace that little wire.
I hope it's that way where you are in the bubble you live in, and may God bless you if that's what you find all the time. Because what we have
for the majority, yeah,
what we have in the majority is the couple things. I got a secret customer. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
They've already tried to fix it themselves, and then they took it to their favorite backyard hack, and then they bring it to you. And
I definitely have those, but I never called them. Would you call it a secret customer?
I have a secret.
I have a secret.
I have a secret.
Because
they didn't tell you all.
Customer.
They didn't tell you or your service advisor.
Oh, of course not. Why would they tell
anybody?
Right.
Because they don't want to look like anything. And then an hour into it, your tech comes out and goes, "Hey, you know what? There's wrong spark plugs in here." But it took them 2 hours of finding this. So then what you have is the out of touch shop owner who yells at the tech, what shouldn't have taken you this long to find that it had.
Why didn't you just check that first?
Yeah.
How was I supposed to know?
So what I find when I go visit shops and I talk to shop owners and I talk to their lead techs and I find a disconnect and I find these guys downtrodden is because they're the only A guy in a 3-bay shop. There's a GS, there's a parts hanger, and then there's your A guy, right? And the A guy gets all the diag while he watches everybody else get their hours that he diagged. He doesn't even get the job half the time,
right?
Because he's got to do that timing chain and gears because he's the only one there who knows how to do it, And so he's getting all these jobs that wear your mind out, wear your body out, where you're using all your tools to get diagged and to get done, and you can't really beat the clock on a consistent basis. But he sits there and he sees people with less ability getting their bonuses and getting
the gravy.
So we got to do better because we're losing guys to the. You know how easy it is for our guys to go sideways and become an HVAC tech somewhere?
Yeah, that seems to be somewhere. That's the trend right there. Is the HVAC?
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of that in my area, and I'm in California. Yeah. I mean, we don't have. It's 70 degrees today in the middle of October, or middle of November. I'm sorry. So it's like we don't really have like temperature where we need HVAC, but a lot of the techs are moving into HVAC. I mean,
it's the trend here because a lot of these guys that are A-techs might be at their top dollar in this area for flat rates like $35 an hour. Okay. High ceiling. Unless you're 20 plus years at the same dealer, you might be up to 40.
Mm-hmm.
But, that guy's got the dealership trained on what he will not do by now. Mm-hmm. But for the vast majority of them, they go to a place and they shine. And instead of the owner figuring out a way to use this guy and to pay him some higher guarantee that he doesn't think that he's being neglected or abused for the just betterment of the shop owner and everybody else but him. And then he gets in a bad mood and he goes to the next place and then to the next place and the next place. And next thing you know, I'm texting a guy going, "Where you at?" And they're like showing me a picture of a van of ABC Mechanical. you know,
Yeah.
running, conduit for, and plumbing for, a new HVAC system. And I'm going, we got to do better. We
Well,
got to do
and
better.
then think how easy that transition is, right? I mean, if you ever had a water heater installed, if the electrical is not hooked up, the plumber doesn't do that. You got to call an electrician, right? And so on and so forth. If you get an HVAC system installed, they don't hook up the electrical.
Yeah.
They just hook up
Piece
the
of
ducting
equipment.
and charge the system. And it's like, you got to call an electrician. Like we are the plumbers, we are the HVAC technicians, we are the electricians, we are all of that. And our product goes down the highway at 80 miles an hour.
Yep.
You know,
when
these houses sit in the same spot.
when I opened up my business and I bought lifts and put them in, company had sold them to me, put them in, got them installed, got them level, and said, "Good luck. Call the electrician." What do you mean, call the electrician? Yeah, we don't do that. So I had to wire up my my own lifts.
Right.
When you're a shop owner and the toilet breaks, you install a new toilet.
Yeah.
So we have all these skills. We already know how to diagnose AC.
Yeah.
So we're already getting into everything but like 3-phase and higher in an electrical field.
Well, then you like 3-phase in the hybrids. I mean, it's a 3-phase electric motor.
Exactly.
And as we move into EVs, it's and now we're calibrating lasers. We're literally turning into rocket scientists. Literally becoming right in front of your eyes. And not to downplay any of the other trades, right? I mean, to be a skilled framer, to be a skilled plumber, to be a skilled electrician, yeah, of course, there's a place for that. But we have the knowledge in this field to take care of the basic stuff when it comes to any of those fields. You know what I mean?
Well, you as a tech and you as an owner, different levels of investment. But a lot of your A-techs that have been in it, easy 75, 100 grand in tools.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Easy. Between their box, their cabinet, their diag equipment, and all their tools, So then you're a shop owner. Now, if you're a gen repair and you want to be, one of these, we do everything shops.
Yeah.
Well, now you're buying all this equipment because, now you have these interactive cars, and you have cars that warn you if you're changing lanes, and if your bumper camera's off, it's affecting newer calibrations on alignments. And, so the equipment and the update that you're investing. And I just saw an interview, another podcast, I won't name names, and the guy's very successful. And he's saying, we're doing everything to keep our prices down. And there's something in me that dies because I know what that means. I know what it means to him, his family, because he's working longer hours. I know what it means to his techs. I know what it means to his suppliers because he's probably not paying them on time. So my passion is this industry. Been in it since I could walk, and it's not going anywhere, but who's coming along for the ride? Don't know.
Yeah, it's just making the small tweaks, it's making the small changes, right? And as we get like these groups together, right, and we start realizing that we're all making the same mistake, right, in a sense, and we all realize that for one, we're not charging enough, and that profit is not a bad word. And you start bringing more financials into the business, and you start realizing the good you can do with that. Yeah, granted, there's plenty of bad shop owners out there that make the money for the wrong reasons. They buy the wrong stuff. They don't take care of their people. They don't take care of their shop. They don't take care of their customers. But they see this big golden, I can charge $200 an hour. I'll do that. I'm going to get myself that third boat, Yeah. I'm sure they're out there, right? But for the majority of us, it's like we take that money and we look at how to give back to the community, look how to give back to our employees, our technicians, how to train them more, and I get the whole so
you're
my
the top
big thing,
2%, if your attitude is there, I don't know what your P&L and all that looks like, But just with that attitude, you're in the top 2%. I don't know if you know that.
I've becoming to realize that. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously doing this podcast. I talk to a lot of people, and so trying to spread that word. And it's like, how can you guys not like? How do some not understand that? Like that's what you do. Like, and what's your definition of success, right? And that's what the main thing is. Like, what is successful to you? Do you want to be out of the shop by 3:00 on a fishing boat? If you can do that, go be. I want to take care of my people, and I want the new generation of technicians to have what they need to stay in this field and not want to not just not leave my shop, but not leave the industry. You know what I mean? I watched a lot of it, and I wasn't paid what I feel I was deserved as I grew up in this field, but I struggled to stay in it, and I saw the importance it is and how it's in the transmission field, especially. Like, there's no transmission builders anymore, you know? And in fact, in the dealership, in the dealership, they're not even touching them anymore. They're not. There's no dealership repair programs for the transmissions anymore. And to see that dying off is like, what? Wait. Well, that can't happen.
I will say, the Ford dealership that my son works at, they were building them. They have to tear them down and do a cost analysis with the warranty department. Right. Whether they send him a unit or build it. Right. And he won't build it just throwing little parts at it because he's got to stand behind it. Right. So that dealer gets it. And that dealer's a little forward thinking where they're building a new truck shop and they want to turn the truck area into a transmission only and do all nameplates. So that's a discussion again for another day.
I mean,
the dealers are doing a very good job of knowing what has to be done, and
look at the bigger picture. Like, make that investment so that you have someone on your team that has the capability to fix these problems, right? Yeah. Because for most GS shops, if a transmission fails, they're not tearing back into it. They're just waiting for the reman. When's the reman coming? I don't know. It's on back order. There's 2,500 units on back order. Yeah. Like, how does that serve your client, you know?
Yeah. We had so little turnover at my shop. We had 4 rebuilders, and 3 of them died. So the joke was, the only way you get out of Broadway transmission is to die. And then, of course, when I was fighting for my life, my 2 boys were like rethinking, is this what we want to do? Everybody we know that's rebuilt and been close to us has died.
Yeah, maybe.
All under 60, by the way. So
he was serious about getting out of this thing, huh?
Yeah. But our industry there's a bright future for those that stay in it, for those that have your attitude, and not allergic to the profit word, and but also have to know we're not charging near what we need to. Yeah, and you can go to the model of any other industry. I don't know what it's like again out. I kind of live in this bubble out here for the last 2 years because of my health. And I've been to my share of doctor's appointments, as you can imagine, over the last 2 years. My primary care has left the practice and has gone to work at the hospital. She gave a year's notice. They cannot replace her. There's no applicants. So I go in now and I see a nurse. I don't know what they call them, nurse practitioners or whatever. Mm-hmm. And inevitably, if there's something above her pay scale, then I Skype or Zoom or whatever a doctor. But the bill's still the same or higher, So
isn't that amazing?
No other industry apologizes for what they charge.
That's true.
But us. And no other industry, I'm not going to say no, but you don't really see that effing doctor or that effing hospital ripped me off.
Yeah.
Well, you seem to still be alive.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing, as long as they're walking. I definitely see the plenty of the doctor did me wrong. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's misdiagnosed me.
Right.
But I mean, you go back, a misdiagnosis for the doctors is that's normal practice because they're practicing medicine. I mean, we're practicing what we do, Yeah, to the same guy.
To the same guy. But we don't get that.
Or a lawyer. How about an attorney? You pay for an attorney, he loses your case. You're still paying. It's the same cost.
Thank God. I've only had, in the 30 years that I owned my business, I had 3 customers sue me, and they were all dismissed like immediately, and none of them had to do with our work. So
that's interesting. What was the pain point?
Well, the one I remember all 3 of them because I'm a reasonable person, even to the point where sometimes I'll give away goods or services or money to try to keep a customer happy.
Mm-hmm.
We're guilty of that in our industry, aren't we?
Yep.
It's not like McDonald's where they go, we'll give you another Big Mac. What do they got invested in that?
Right.
So we give away an oil change. We're losing that bay time. We're losing that material, that oil. We're paying for the disposal of the waste. Anyhow, so the first one, the customer didn't want to pay to have her transmission rebuilt. We always have them sign a waiver we will not buy a used one. Go buy a used one. You contract us to install it with all the waivers signed. Transmission worked fine. Gave it back to them. The next day, their engine blew up.
Mm-hmm.
So they sued us because we were supposed to have a magic 8-ball and know that.
Mm-hmm.
That was dismissed. The next one was an IROC Z. And I turned down the job, and the parents came. Why won't you take this job? I said, well, I can tell your son abuses his car, and we give a 3-year unlimited mile warranty on all our work, no exceptions, if we rebuild it. And I just don't trust doing this job. Oh, our Johnny, we just bought this car. And the abuse you see was from the previous owner. So,
right, of course it is.
I got talked into it, but I still had the wherewithal to have them sign the telltale signs of abuse. And they came back a couple weeks later, brand new tires, but they're melted in the back. And I told them to come, you guys pick a time that we'll tear the transmission out right in front of you. We'll tear it down right in front of you, so there's no hocus pocus. No, hey, you pulled out a part from the barrel trick,
right,
that our industry was known for in the 80s. So, full disclosure. Plus, I kept their old parts and showed them up front. If this input shaft snaps in 2, it's from doing neutral slams. After trying to do burnouts, we don't cover that. And showed them the part. I put their name on the box and put it in our storage, knowing they would be back. I didn't know how soon.
And you knew it was coming.
They paid me to do the job again. And they didn't talk much during the delivery. And they took me to court. I brought the old paperwork plus the old parts and the new parts, and the judge dismissed it. And then the last one that I remember was a person had a warranty company. Aren't they lovely, those warranty companies? And
yeah, I don't know. I had good and bad experiences, and it's like, yeah.
We have great
I have
ones.
mixed reviews.
We have great ones that we deal with. The not so great ones that are on another list, I tell the customers, you ever go to a doctor and they say they don't take your insurance, but they'll file the claim? I'll do that for you. But if your claim's paid or not paid, that's up to you and them, not me. I said, they're not going to tie up my bay. They're not going to tie up my bench. Here's our procedure. As soon as you tell me to do the job, we're rocking and rolling. We're not going to stop and wait for an adjuster, tie up my bay, tie up my, you know the story. So they okay the job. The job gets partially reimbursed to them 30 days after the job. And then I left out a part. Forget me. Part of my memory isn't fully recovered from the ordeal I went through. The warranty company talked me into letting them send their reman transmission.
Okay.
And let me mark it up 25% and pay me for installation. I said, okay, that's fine. As long as you're letting me have a little markup on it, go ahead. Well, it broke down. They sued me. And again, showed
the warranty company?
The customer.
Oh, okay.
They said, well,
they went after you for the remanufacturing.
We had it worked on here. And I felt like, hello, McFly, graciously showed them their paperwork, showed them their signature. We had a ironclad, at that time, every disclosure was on the internet, whether you were live or not. Your authorization form, everything that you could encounter, and you would electronically sign. If you read it, I didn't care. But I went over it with you, and you had to electronically sign acknowledging all of it. So they acknowledged that if there's any problem with the transmission supplied to me, and it breaks down outside of my peer view, they have to call the warranty company. Don't call me. And I'm not responsible for towing or anything. So it broke down on their vacation 4 hours away, and they wanted me to pay for their towing bill and, their labor and their hotel and, fill in the blank. And of course that was thrown out. So in 30 years, knock on wood, we did our best to stay out of Judge Wapner's,
Judge Judy.
Judge Judy. I'm dating myself. Judge Wapner and Judy. We stayed out of that. And
Jerry Springer.
Won all three. Yeah, Mayor Springer. He used to be the mayor of Cincinnati. Yeah, before he had his talk show, he was the mayor of Cincinnati.
Oh well, I was just listening to a podcast about the Dr. Oz. Remember Dr. Oz from the Oprah show and ended up taking over the Oprah show? That was quite a one too.
He ran for Senate.
Yeah.
Here in Pennsylvania and got.
And speaking of COVID, he had that COVID medicine that he endorsed. What was the name of it?
The one that works.
The one that works, yeah.
The one that works that Trump took, yeah.
The one, yeah. So he had
whatever.
He signed it with Trump to get that medication pumped through, and then the same with like the green coffee bean that was all through Dr. Oz. It was like all this political. I mean, it was quite a story of behind the scenes when it comes to Dr. Oz and how he took his doctor, and he was actually a very skilled cardiologist because he did the heart transplant on for that famous. It was for the World Series. I don't follow sports too much, but yeah, he actually did a heart transplant, and that's what like catapulted him into the limelight. And then from there, he kind of took off. But he was actually a very skilled technician, and then
not a good skilled politician.
If
you lose to a guy in a track sweat outfit who can't speak a word of a sentence of English, you should not run again.
Yeah, he had a lot going on with his personal life by the time he was that far up into the political chain for sure. I mean, everything he said on this Dr. Oz show was like, whoa. He definitely used his platform to start swinging for the wrong team. But interesting to say the least,
if he ran as a moderate, he might have won, but he had a hard stance against abortion, which the Republicans will lose on in any big state there is.
Right.
In the prairie, they'll win, but on the coast, it doesn't fly.
Yeah. Interesting to say the least, though. But yeah, go back. Always comes back to the politics.
Well, it all is there. I mean, you've heard of the right to repair legislation,
yeah,
sure.
Mm-hmm.
I gave up on it, and it's funny how it's being picked up again and gaining new traction. But I was on the original legislation of that nationally, was on the panel that testified in Congress in D.C. for the Right to Repair Act. But back then, ASA in Texas cut a deal with the new car dealers to come up with the current, what we have now as far as the information agreement that we have for the aftermarket as far as tools and parts and things of that nature.
And that in itself is just proof of how disconnected most consumers are with their vehicle, and how this feeling of being it's a right, not a privilege, right? And just like you had the last story there about they want to sue you for their time in their hotel and all this and that and the other thing. Like, how many times does a contractor come into your home and do something and something goes wrong? Do you go stay in a hotel now because your house isn't livable? Like, what is with the automotive field as far as you lose your car and all of a sudden it's everybody else's responsibility to make sure that you have wheels under your feet. You know what I mean? When it's like, this is just your car. You own it. It's your responsibility to maintain and repair it. Right. And we're just doing our best to keep you in the seat of that car, but it's not a guarantee. We're not guaranteeing anything. It's just, this is your best bet to keep you going forward. Maybe if you maintain it more than one time a year, you would have to worry about it. Or maybe have two. And now they're taking away, and you're going to have subscriptions ruled in, and you're going to have all these mandates and like the right to repair. Like, you don't even see the wool that they pulled over their eyes. Like, you're going to buy something and you're not going to own it. You know?
Yeah. My lawyer said, we're easy targets because, we can be sued. We have pockets, so for those shop owners out there, whether you're incorporated, LLC, whatever your, business legal status is, you still need an umbrella policy to cover you for a couple million. It's very inexpensive. My $2 million policy in this state was like $150 a year.
Mm-hmm.
But, you buy insurance, you hope to never, ever have to use it. But, your guy has a bad day, doesn't tighten something up, and you're in a partnership or an LLC. Courts are getting around that now for liability because they know it's not, so, sorry to throw that out.
Easily poking holes in the veil.
Yeah.
Very easily. Yeah, no, it's a great point to bring up because it's something that in my very early years I ran into, and it was more you'd say the tech fell asleep at the wheel, right? And one of the things that I didn't, through my early years of trying to delegate how I spend this small amount of money I had to keep this business running, right? It was like a part of it was like, nope, gotta have insurance. And it ended up being almost $100,000 claim within the first year of operating my shop after buying it. Yeah, and it's like, if I would have skimped out on the insurance, right, or like a lot of guys do, I don't need that. Like, no, you don't, but it sure helps when you do. It definitely helps.
I'll try to end up here unless you had other questions, more specific questions, but a funny story while we're on that topic.
Yeah.
And, pat myself on the shoulder that I can say that I'm a good salesperson. So my son, who's now a top-notch transmission guy, when he was in high school, I trusted him to fill up an old Jeep with transmission fluid. It was just rebuilt. Thought the guys out in the shop would watch them. My mistake there. And so one of the guys said, let me get it up on the rack, get it started for you. He thought my son knew back then, those Jeeps, the old, torque flights, you put it in reverse and you filled it, and I got the fluid in the pump and into the transmission faster. So my son didn't know that. So you can imagine, normally I have 40-some, 50-some cars out in the front lot, side lot full, back lot full. We're 2-3 months out. This was like a summer vacation week. And we happen to have two holes out in front. And my son puts the Jeep down to check the fluid, and garage door was open. Somehow it misses all the cars in the lot. Goes through one of the open holes. Hits a car coming this way because there's a main drag right out in front of us, a state road. Hits a car coming this way, bounces off a car going that way. There's two homes now. It's going above a crosswalk, then into the yard, misses both homes, stops at a tree.
Wow.
I'm out in a golf course. I swear it was like the first time I said, everything's under control. Shop's running good.
Got your boy in there doing good.
There's 3 guys upstairs rebuilding. There's 3 guys downstairs. My son, there's a guy in the office. A friend of mine owns a couple restaurants, wants to go golfing. I'm going to treat myself and leave early, go golfing. I'm on a hole and I get a call. Dad, you're not going to believe what happened, but I really don't want to tell you over the phone. How far away are you? Get in the golf cart, go back to the shop, hear the story. And it's just dumbfounded how this could have happened. Blame myself, obviously, for not being there. Taught me to be a better owner or manager from that. But just needed a bumper on our customer's Jeep. Called her up. And she goes, oh, it's fine. I'm down at the beach anyhow, Brian. And it was just a black matte bumper. Didn't need any paint. So we went and got a bumper, polished it up, put it on there. Didn't cost us anything. The tree in the customer's yard, he wasn't worried about. Now, the car that came this way totaled. And it was a Toyota, 4Runner. Car going that way, not a scratch. So the guy told the guy, apologized to him, here's our insurance information. Whatever your deductible or loss is, I got you. So we take full responsibility. About a month later, the guy walks in. I go, how you doing? He goes, good. Remember me? I go, yeah.
Yeah, I can't forget your face.
I'm thinking inside, I'm like, oh, what's...
Here we go.
I'm like reaching for the checkbook.
Checkbook, yeah.
I'm literally just like, he's got an estimate, or I'm reaching for my checkbook. He goes, well, the vehicle was totaled and we got more money back than what it was worth. And we bought XYZ vehicle. We just noticed the transmission started slipping. Could you work me a deal on fixing the transmission? And he goes, if this Jeep wouldn't have jumped out. Now, we are on the main drag of this town, and he got to drive by it twice a day to go to work, come back from work. He says, I passed your shop literally 1,000 times. Never knew it was a transmission shop. Never paid attention because I never needed your service. If that Jeep wouldn't have hopped out, I wouldn't have known. I said, got you, boss. I did. I gave him I showed him my wholesale price list of what I give to fleets and other shops. I'll give you this price. He paid me money, didn't cost me money, actually made money. And his whole family started bringing their vehicle to us. I swear to God.
Marketing 101 right there. So if you're slow, just let a Jeep roll out of the front of your shop. Not only are you going to get rid of the Jeep, which is a good thing, you're going to pick up new business.
We weren't even slow, but it just so happened that we, just like you rotate stock in the refrigerator if you're a restaurant, we had a guy, my cleanup guy was paid to take out the trash, sweep the floors, do the bathrooms, and to go get parts and to move and rotate from the side lot, from the back lot to the front lot, keep the numbers on it back then, I was even way back before we were all computerized. I mean, my God, probably 16, 17 years ago before everything was,
digital,
you had a tablet and your phone and all that. So everything's an opportunity is the lesson you learn from
absolutely. That's a great point to bring up because it absolutely is. How do I don't know if I call it leverage, but how do I pivot out of this situation to make it a positive experience? Because it doesn't have to be, as long as no one's hurt, no one, it's like, okay, now how do we move forward from this? And it's one of the very first lessons I learned from that incident in that first year. It was like, that's other than someone getting hurt, that's the worst thing that could have happened to me. And I'm looking at the end of the year and I'm like, I'm still here. Like the lights are still on. Oh, okay. So it's not that bad. I made it bad. Like my mind made the situation way worse than the situation actually was, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd hate to see a $100,000 claim and see what your rates did after that, but you're still here.
Still here. Honestly, for what it was, I mean, I don't know whether it changed or not because I didn't have the policy for more than a year. So. And it's California, the insurance. I mean, we're just lucky to find an insurance company that'll cover us anymore. So, but regardless, it was like, I still was able to pay rent. I didn't have to do anything else other than just file the claim, and they took care of everything. And it was like, wow, okay, so you got to put the right people in place. That's my takeaway.
Well, this, just to let everybody tuning in, this is the first time I've done a podcast where the person didn't like, here's the talking points. We just hopped on and talked like we were getting a cup of coffee and hadn't seen each other in 20 years. This is the first time we met.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I appreciate you having on. This has been good. I appreciate you, Brian.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown, and I hope, wish you much success in whatever you put your hands to, and that you stay encouraged and enthusiastic for the industry because you got the attitude to stay in there.
Very kind words.